Hey everybody, happy Thursday to you. Thank you for joining us here on Northern Life. I was very excited. My husband just dropped off lunch for me.
Wow, what a guy.
I know, a little burrito bowl.
Can you say where it's from?
Is
Is it
Not sponsored.
No, we're not sponsored.
It's
Shameless
a
plug.
Qdoba burrito bowl, yeah.
yum.
Well, queso on
I know,
there.
I've got that waiting for me
Wow.
downstairs when we get done with the show.
Do you go for the extra guac, or do you not get the extra guac? Do you not splurge and?
So on a burrito bowl, I don't really put guac.
Wow.
Yeah,
controversial.
so
More
I know.
controversial.
I refrain from the guac, but I do get some of that extra. What is the hot cheese
Pico-
called?
Queso?
Oh, queso.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
queso. Queso Diablo.
Oh,
is
yeah,
what they call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Ooh,
Well,
it is
I
tasty.
have a bowl of meat in the fridge upstairs that I plan on eating.
A bowl of meat?
You know, a burrito bowl from accredited place, and then
Yeah.
my bowl of meat, you know, basically the same.
Potato.
Yeah.
Same exact.
Well, we have an exciting weekend ahead here in Duluth. Today, the Festival of Sail returns to port. You can stop by down here in Canal Park to enjoy some maritime magic. You can check out the festive ships over at the Harbor Plaza and celebrate the first major event to showcase Duluth's new $300 million seawall renovation.
Or 30 million.
rather. 30.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. What did I say?
300.
Oh, yeah, no.
Honestly, it does
sorry.
look
I'm glad
very
you
nice.
corrected me.
It
yeah.
does look very nice.
It's
I haven't been down
worth
there yet.
300 million the way it looks, yeah, for sure. But I'm so excited for the ships. I remember the last time Duluth hosted this event. It was so fun. I think that was like 2019 to watch the boats go
Yeah.
under the lift bridge, and then it's been into harbors a couple times, so it's going to be very exciting to have it right in our backyard.
I remember going I think it was the first Festival of Sail with my family. I was probably 11 or 12 or something like that here in Duluth, and it was 3 boats that you could go on. And I just looked up the event. There's so many more boats and a ton of other stuff that you can do. The rubber ducky wasn't there back
Yeah.
then, so there's a lot of other stuff too, which is really cool.
And the diving too.
Oh, that's
this
nuts.
year. Yeah, Jeff McClure, our reporter, showed us all the work that went into setting up that like more than 60-foot tall
Yeah.
platform. And
It's high.
It's so high, and then watching the people dive in was just like, ooh.
The mindset
Yeah.
you have to get in to do that. That's wild.
Braver than I.
Yes.
Well, hey, Briggs and I actually got to sail underneath that diving platform the other day on the water this week for a future blindfold. That's because Hunter here hooked us up with Day Tripper of Duluth, getting to take a kayak tour by the lift bridge here, also by the William A. Irvin. You can find that full story coming up Tuesday here on Northern Life. And I got to say, I've been on the Vista Fleet before. It gives you a great perspective of our city on the hill. Now being super close to the water on a kayak like we were, even a greater perspective as to how beautiful our area is.
So pretty, and what a good workout too.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like my arms were just going to town.
Really?
Paddling. Ryan was probably doing most of the work. He was in the back. But
was
I felt like
steering.
I was contributing.
I was steering in the back.
You guys rowing the workout thing, don't you? When you guys do the
Yeah,
workouts, so
yeah.
you should be ready, ready to go for this sort of thing.
Feeling like I was splashing Ryan with my paddle
Oh, you
the
were
entire
good.
time.
You're all good.
Oh,
It was
my
getting close to your birthday, so you're all good. Yeah.
True.
Speaking of Briggs' birthday, we had a ton of viewers wish Briggs a happy birthday yesterday, including Viv, who actually texted us back on Tuesday saying, Briggs, happy early birthday,
Aw.
just in case I forget. So
Oh,
Viv must
man,
have it
Viv.
actually on the calendar circle because she knew it was coming up.
She must have been the first one to wish you a happy birthday.
She probably was
Yeah.
if she's getting it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Viv. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You rock,
It was
Viv.
a good day. Very good day. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get to a really great question from our viewers, Sue and Greg. They want to know the insides of the old TV industry. Online, online, our morning meteorologist, Tony Anargi, announced this is sadly his last week with our team here at Northern News Now. So they asked, could you tell me how it works for a meteorologist when they graduate? Do they work for a TV station for a specific time frame? And they also said best wishes to Tony. So Sue and Greg, yeah, many times I'm sure it's a very similar station with a lot of stations around the country. When it comes to meteorologists and news anchors, you actually sign contracts a majority of the time. And so, when we first started, usually it was typical like a 2-year contract for that position. And you kind of have to renew it every so often. So Tony, I believe, had a 2-year contract
Yep,
too.
yep.
And then now he gets to go closer to home on the East Coast. So we're very happy.
Yeah, very cool. A lot of newer folks start in these small. This is technically a smaller market, so we get a lot of newcomers from way out east or way out west or whatever. They'll stay here for their full contract 2 years, and then naturally they want to get closer to home. So that's exactly what happened with Tony. It's a nice starting area for a lot of folks. But
Yeah.
us all who are kind of from here, it's also a great place for us to
Right.
kind of hang around as long as we want.
Absolutely. I feel like Duluth's like a perfect kind of middle ground because, you can start your career here, but you can
Right.
continue it, for a
Yep.
long time too,
Right.
like you were saying, if you want to.
Yep.
So very cool. And a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
Have that. Yeah. Well, here's what's coming up on today's show. We learn the history of the Cheesehead. We're going to meet the man behind the Green Bay Packers iconic headwear. Plus, should you be using AI in place of therapy? We're going to get the answers on that.
Very interesting.
Yeah, well, let's go now to northeastern Pennsylvania, where police are investigating a theft at a local McDonald's restaurant. A group of thieves hung out for a while in the store and then stole a prized possession. It's not a crime to steal a French fry or a chicken McNugget from a friend when you go to McDonald's, but it is when you walk out with the franchise's mascot. Okay, these guys are bold. It's a big theft. And then what are you going to do with that once you get it, right? Well, the suspect in the kidnapping of Ronald McDonald isn't the Hamburglar. As you can see in this surveillance video, 4 people ended up taking him out of the restaurant and placing him in a black SUV. Authorities are hoping that those thieves turn themselves in soon. Man.
They're all in plain sight too. They all just look like a bunch of
during the
teenagers.
day.
Yeah, taking this thing. I would say if that was able to be purchased, I would definitely think about purchasing that and keeping that in my home because it's such an iconic piece of McDonald's lore, if you will.
Yeah.
As a kid, sometimes you put the water cup in the soda fountain and you steal pop, but you know, that's a whole different thing.
It's a little more extreme than that.
That's a lot more extreme.
Yep.
Let's go to Wisconsin, where a woman is fighting to keep her pet wallaby. The city says Linda Roster is violating an ordinance by keeping a wild animal at her home, but she says her wallaby named August is a domesticated emotional support pet. So she's now fighting to change that ordinance so she can keep August with her family.
I'm going to sign the petition to keep August with her. Oh, man, he's a precious boy.
Find it online, probably on change.org, and help August stay with his or her parents.
Yeah.
Look at that tail.
No, that's very long.
So hey, coming up, the history of the cheese on your head. Packers fans, you'll want to stay tuned here on Northern Lights. Welcome back. The Minnesota State Fair made a big announcement this week. They have new items to offer this year. How about a few of these? There's the Uncrustaburger, a 4-ounce burger with cheese, pickles, special sauce, smashed between 2 deep-fried peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables. Next, we got the Grandma Doreen's coffee cake with vanilla ice cream between 2 pieces of cake put on a stick, drizzled with strawberry jam and topped with cinnamon toast flavored crispy treats. And then finally, over at the Blue Barn, Sweet Squeakers, a heap of white cheddar cheese curds coated in funnel cake batter and topped with lemon whipped cream and a drizzle of berry sauce.
Man.
Big fan of the first one and the last one. I like the savory and the sweet being put together with the Uncrustables and that burger, but I mean, I would try all those in a heartbeat. Wouldn't you all? Maybe not?
Yeah.
Makes you look a little unsure.
I would give him a shot. What were the last things? Cheese curds or was cheese curds?
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds, but why is there whipped cream on the cheese curds?
Yeah,
I don't know how
they're
I feel
like
about
a
that.
dessert cheese curd.
It might be a little much,
Sure.
a little sweet. I think I would feel a little sick after that. But I mean, in a good way. I'm sure eating it, I would feel very happy. But afterwards,
For those first 5 minutes, you probably would feel very happy.
The next about 2 days or so, would be the most fun thing in the world. If you ate an Uncrustable, that would probably also break your streak of not eating a PB&J sandwich.
Can't have an Uncrustable.
This could be your first time.
Is that what I need? My first peanut butter and jelly sandwich to be deep fried and then with also a burger?
Well, do you
Sounds
like
like a lot.
burgers?
I like
Of
burgers.
course.
Yeah.
Why not
Maybe
mix
give
the
it a shot.
two?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time to me. Let's talk about some sports history here. It all started as a homemade stunt at a Brewers game. Now, nearly 4 decades later, the cheese head hat, that is a global symbol of Wisconsin pride.
Yeah, Alex met with Ralph Bruno, the man behind the iconic idea.
If you're heading out to a Packer game, you need to look the part. Ah, that's better, but something's still missing. Oh, the iconic cheese head. But how did this wedge of Wisconsin history come to be? We're about to find out.
My name is Ralph Bruno. I guess it was something that I had to do back in 1987, and that was to make a cheese head. It started as me going to a Brewer baseball game, and they were playing the White Sox, and of course, our friendly neighbors to the south call us cheeseheads. So the night before, I had made a cheesehead hat from a piece of foam. I was reupholstering my mom's couch at the time, and so I cut it in the shape of a triangle and got a wood burner out and put holes in it with a wood burner and gave it a golden color and wrapped everything into all cheeses into one. A girl came up and said, "Hey, can I try it on?" And then my buddies looked at me and looked at her, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on with this cheese head thing?" And then I couldn't get the hat away from them.
And you have the original cheese head.
It spent a lot of time in a closet in the dark, and then my wife Sue had had somebody build a case for it. So we have it under glass now. Back then there wasn't anything, and so being first on the scene with something is a good bad thing. The manufacturing side of things, it went from what I had done by cutting it into actually a molded process, which I knew nothing about. But my background in pattern making and mold making allowed me to go into that side of things. So I thought, for what I wanted to do, foam in action, so I put together Foamation, and so we started the company.
So you had, decades with it, but you sold the rights to the Packers in 2023?
The feel that we had gotten over the years by working with the Packers, it just was the perfect fit.
Early on, we became a customer of Ralph and Foamation, and now for us, it's about how do we become good stewards of the Cheesehead brand. We want to carry on the history of what Ralph created.
Never believed that we'd be talking here 38 years later about something I had done that had no financial plan. It was just just a whim kind of thing, and everybody has that opportunity, and I think that's hopefully what people get out of it too, is like, I have a Cheesehead in me, somewhere, somehow, and I believe we all do.
So from couch cushion to cultural icon, the power of the Cheesehead is here to stay in Wisconsin. Reporting for CBS 58 Hometowns, I'm Alex Corradetti.
For being a Vikings fan, that was actually really interesting to learn about that history. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was just going to be a dude that invented the whole thing. I thought it might be a company or something like that, but just a random dude with a random idea.
I just kind of figured it was the Packers, who
Yeah.
did
Right.
it themselves.
Yeah.
But I bet that guy got a pretty decent check
I hope
from
so.
the team as he was smiling down at the football. Maybe the check was on top or something. He's like, wow.
Probably said, how much money are you giving me? I'll say yes.
Well, that's so cool. And very cool that he still has the original, too, in the glass
Awesome.
case. Very nice. Well, if you haven't yet, you still have a chance to enjoy downtown Duluth days over on Superior Street. Ryan actually took us over to the Minnesota Marshmallow Truck by the Minnesota Power Plaza, where we got to make a few of their delicious deep-fried marshmallows. So good. That's going to be a future blindfold coming up in a few weeks. And they were just one of the many food trucks that were there offering really tasty treats.
Yeah.
And man, those deep fried marshmallows, I'll tell you what.
Super.
That was phenomenal.
So-
What a great idea that is.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, ooey gooey on the inside. They get a little big too, and so good.
Also a fantastic time just to get downtown. Also to catch up with a lot of folks. I feel like we caught
Yeah.
up with a lot of folks down there, viewers as well.
Yes.
So be sure to get out there today.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're tackling another real or AI when we come back.
Let's get to another real or AI on this Thursday. A few weeks ago, we had the diving dogs, and now how about this video on Instagram? Real or AI? It apparently shows someone diving high above the water, allegedly into the harbor next to the Duluth aerial lift bridge. Seems kind of crazy, but I'd ask you both, real or AI?
Real. It's got to be real, right?
How about you?
Who would make that here in Duluth? I would say that's a real video right there.
Well, I'm
Yes.
happy to say that is indeed real.
Good.
Big thanks to Winterfell Management who posted that on their Instagram. But I mean, 66, however, feet in the air, diving into the water below. Fortunately, it looks like they have somebody in the water waiting
Yeah.
for said diver to come back up. So, but
What's-
quite a shot
What's
there.
the purpose of the water down there? What are they spraying
I
in the...
think it's so she can see it.
Yeah.
Like
Or
as
like-
she's flipping, so she knows where the water is versus
Yeah.
the sky.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Will
Okay.
help locate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, a very daring sport.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, staying on the topic of AI, a recent Harvard Business Review article showed that the people are quickly turning to artificial intelligence for therapy.
Yeah, despite its low cost, one mental health expert says it's important not to be convinced that AI is a solution for you. Grant Green brings us more.
How to build confidence. Can ChatGPT be a replacement for an in-person therapist? Well, some seem to think so, as the #1 use of ChatGPT is therapy. But one local therapist isn't convinced that it's a better alternative than dealing with somebody face-to-face.
I see it as an augmentation. It's not going to give you the personal connection that you're going to have in one-on-one therapy.
Mental health counselor Ian Stromberg says AI can be used in different ways to help get your foot in the door for a manner of help that is more effective.
I think they could use it as a way to maybe practice opening up. Maybe they could use it as a way to role play how they want to say something to a therapist. Sometimes it could be really intimidating for some people if they've never have spoken to what essentially is a stranger on the other side of the room like me and start talking.
But he says AI servers like ChatGPT don't have the intuition that a real-life therapist possesses.
It's going to praise you, it's going to affirm, it's going to validate, but it's not going to challenge. It's certainly not going to diagnose. You know, as a therapist, something I look at is the whole person. You know, the affect, how they are in the office with me, their tone of voice, their eye contact, and that's all part of that meta, communication that I'm going to get with the client.
Stromberg says relying entirely on a computer will not help people work through the root of the issue.
It's not going to change the fact when I run into you, out somewhere and I try to engage you or talk to you, I'm going to run right into the same dynamics I had, which might have been maybe social anxiety or something.
Stromberg says with ChatGPT always being accessible and continuing to get better, he imagines that the kind of cases he might get might become more severe, and that's something as a professional he's going to have to learn to adjust with.
Yeah, I guess, you kind of thought mental health folks might be an AI safe job, but it looks like people are just deciding to turn to ChatGPT for things better or worse.
Man,
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of those stories that are coming out now about married couples with, the story has been based around the husband turning to ChatGPT for more emotional connection when it comes to conversations.
Wow.
So really interesting stuff going on, but a lot of people are relying on ChatGPT for a lot of things. It can be very useful, but at the same time, we have a loneliness epidemic that we continue to report on here across the country. So this going to play a big role, I think, in that going forward.
Interesting points there.
Yeah.
We'll share a stunning viewer photo when we come back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're quickly talking during the commercial break about a new report we got in our email inbox saying that Gen Z out there is now using ChatGPT to help them in workplace conflicts. So if they get messages from their bosses they don't know how to interpret, they put it into ChatGPT and say, am I in the wrong for this? Or how do I go about fixing this conflict?
Yeah, that's weird. And like the guy said in the story, chances are ChatGPT is just going to affirm you and, not challenge you to maybe think about how you responded to your boss. And who knows?
Really interesting times ahead for us. Yeah. Well, hey, coming up tomorrow, an interesting time here on Northern Life. Waitress coming to the North Shore in Duluth, featuring original music and lyrics by the Grammy Award winner Sarah Bareilles. We're going to be talking about the show that celebrates friendship, motherhood, and the magic of a well-made pie.
I like pie.
Pie's
Yeah,
the best.
everybody loves pie.
Looking forward to that show. Before we go today, though, we had a pic sent to us on the Northern Life text line. Yvonne said this pic is from Lake Waverly by her niece Maria in Autumba, Minnesota. I think I'm saying that right, in Carleton County. How pretty is that? Is that like a triple, double, just
double rainbow right there. Yeah,
wow,
that's super
with the
cool.
boats and everything. Oh, that is just gorgeous.
I could go for a double Uncrustable burger at the State Fair this year.
Deep fried both. Let's go.
Oh, I get it.
Talk
Deep
about all
fried
those
rainbow.
arteries.
Thanks for joining us. We love you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Find some time to throw a line or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern Life.